Today, we're reacting to every Week 1 NFL game. The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, football is so back, and we're talking about it all episode long. Every single Week 1 game, we're going through it, breaking it down, giving our thoughts because we know you care so much. And it's going to be a fun one, but before we do that, Metro, sir, how are you doing today? Are you ready to talk about these games?
Yes, today has been an awesome day. Football is back. We've had some great games. Even the boring games have been fun. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. The way this is going to work is we're going to go through every single game that we have seen. We're recording this Sunday night, so the Bills and Ravens are playing right now. We'll talk a little bit about that game, but we're going to focus on everything prior to that. And then we're going to do question of the day. Then we're going to answer some of the hot takes we've gotten from you guys. If you want your hot takes to be heard in the next video, put it in the comment section below. Keep an eye out on the community tab. We are posting to hear your hot takes. With that said, Thursday Night Football, my Dallas Cowboys almost won.
Keyword almost, but they played really well. Let's segue right into there. We're going in chronological order. Starting on Thursday night, September 4th, the Dallas Cowboys went on the road to Philadelphia. First half, man, it was a battle. Dak played the stat sheet doesn't say it, but he played a really good game. If you watch the film and his throws that he was making, he was throwing dots, man. They were high-pressure throws through small windows. He looked like a veteran quarterback and a guy you want leading your team with the game on the line against a division rival. 20-24 was the final score. The Eagles did win. It was mostly all in the first half. There was only 3 points scored in the second half by the Eagles themselves. So everything happened before 9 p.m. And wasn't this game delayed as well?
Yeah, everything prior to the delay was fun as hell. Everything afterwards,
fun.
It got defense. And it was kind of a cool balance of both.
It's cool to see, like you said, I love defensive battles, okay? But also, I want to see some cool throws by the quarterback. I want to see the running back break some tackles. This was the perfect balance of all the things I love about football in one game. Kind of the best way to start off the season in my eyes. And, bro, can we just talk about... We started the game off with a disqualification, someone getting ejected from the game. Jerry Jones wants us exactly. It's cinema. It's cinema.
Well, everything went the Dallas Cowboys' way in this game. Landon Dickerson got injured. Jalen Carter got kicked out of the game. Penalties were a lot more heavily on Philadelphia. And Dak was rage baiting too. Dak spit on the floor in front of him and was talking crap. And I think he spit near him, then smiled at him, then got up to his face. And then Jalen Carter spits on him, and then Dak does this guy to the ref. I was like, oh, Dak, you got him, buddy. You got him. So that was really fun. A crazy way to start off the season. The first time two teams were on the field, we get an ejection because a dude got spit on. Football officially was back. But, yeah, the first half was fireworks. I, as a Cowboys fan, was in love with what I saw with this Cowboys offense. Very creative. I loved the aggressiveness downfield from Dak. It looked like he had a weight off his shoulders within the system. It just felt like he was playing so free. We got to talk about the CeeDee Lamb drops because if we're being honest, the Cowboys lost this game because CeeDee got butterfingers. All right, CeeDee cost us the game, which is unfortunate because I thought even after the weather delay, when the Eagles defense started to make some plays, I thought the Cowboys had things going. It's just the drops. I mean, you had a drop deep. You had a third down drop. Things of that nature just can't happen for a guy who's, I think, the third highest paid wide receiver, which, it's going to happen. But I loved what I saw from this Cowboys team. There's a lot to improve upon defensively. It took about 2.5 quarters to really stuff the run and stop Jalen Hurts from running the football. But once they made those adjustments, it was really good. So as a Cowboys fan, I'm happy. Philly gets the win. Congratulations, Philly. You overcame some crazy obstacles in this one. Ejections, injuries, penalties. You still get the win. But I think my question for you, are you concerned about this Philly defense? Because no Jalen Carter, but they at times, every position that they lost, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, that's what Dallas was attacking. The cornerback too. The interior, especially when Carter was gone. They didn't really have a pass rusher. Are you concerned about this Philly defense? And if you are, to what extent?
It's an excellent question because the Cowboys were 7 for 11 on third down. They were doing whatever they wanted at all times on the field. It's week 1, so I'm going to be cautious. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned a little bit. Like you mentioned, Cowboys were having their way, and it should not go that way when you're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. This team is known for putting pressure on the quarterback, making good plays in the secondary, and causing turnovers to get the ball back. Did not look that way. I am concerned, but I am more than positive it will be addressed down the later run of the season. What about you, though?
Yeah, well, they just made a move for Zadarius Smith, I want to say, who I don't actually think is a good fit for them, but it's a plug-and-play guy who can get some reps for you. I'm worried about their CB2. I think they're – if of course, I'm not in the room. I don't know how this is going to work. I would consider moving Cooper DeJean to outside corner and Sidney Brown at safety and then put Andrew Makuba as a nickel.
Interesting.
I think that's a possible way to go about it because Makuba played nickel for Clemson for a few years. I think he's best suited as a safety, but for at least 1 year, I think maybe you consider it because you can't have a Dory Jackson out there. He was bad. You can try with Ja'Cory Bennett. You can try with Keely Ringo. I didn't really feel like either one of those guys was that good. Dallas was picking on them pretty heavily. Quinyon Mitchell didn't have a great day either, by the way. He had a couple penalties, and George Pickens got the best of him a few times, but I'm a little worried about the secondary. Not so much the defensive line because I think when Carter comes back, that fundamentally changes his entire defense. And the linebackers, Jahad Campbell, should have been a top 5 pick. That boy was balling. That boy was balling.
Top 5?
No, I'll go one step further. Should have been number 1. You see how bad Cam Ward played today? Jahad Campbell schooled that guy.
We will not. We'll get to Cam Ward here in a minute, but don't slander my king.
No,
Cam
he's my new
Ward.
Jackson Dart. He's my new Jackson Dart.
That's insane, bro. That's insane.
I'm
But Campbell did look good, bro. He had some pretty nice dropbacks. I saw he had a nice Tampa 2 dropback on that seam. Got there because the dude's fast as shit. They looked good, and they got the win at home, and that's all that matters. Down the road, it will get better. Metro, if you're ready to go, let's segue to Friday night. It was extra fun to have some Friday night lights in Brazil. The Chargers took on the Chiefs. The score was 27 Chargers, 21 Chiefs. As we know, we had all the Swifties watching this game. I actually saw a tweet of one of the Swifties breaking down the salary cap and how the offensive line was the offensive line for the Chiefs was taking up a big portion.
God.
It was awesome. Honestly, I'm kind of enjoying it now. Like rather than just saying like classic comments, they're invested. That's a whole side conversation, but I thought it was cool as shit. The important part, it's sweet. The important part is this game, and what stood out, obviously. Herbert had himself a day, man. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. He got sacked 3 times. Didn't matter. He was still 25 for 34. Herbert was a monster, man. Also had 32 yards on the ground. This is the Justin we know, and his big knock is playoff success. I get it, but when you see him going against playoff teams like this and put an amazing performance on the field, it can only make you feel good for what's to come down the line. What were your thoughts on Herbie in Game 1, Mr. Metro? And also, what was your overall takeaway from this game?
For starters, awesome environment in Brazil. Great halftime show. Great. The whole environment was awesome. So that was fun. In terms of Justin Herbert, I mean, he balled. That was a very impressive performance. A little bit concerning from the Chiefs' defense. The amount of production these receivers got was my biggest takeaway. Quentin Johnson, 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey, 6 catches, 74 yards. Keenan Allen was critical on third down. Keenan Allen, by the way, is 33. 7 catches for 68 yards. Tyler Conklin, 2 for 50. The production was great. They didn't even have to get Trey Harris that involved. So that was, in my opinion, very, very, very impressive. They didn't run the ball that effectively, which is the identity of this team. Amarian Hampton, 15 for 48. Najee Harris had 1 carry on the day. So everything considered, I was a huge fan of what happened out there. Defensively, they held Mahomes in check for the most part. Eventually, Mahomes did get going a little bit. And I want to to be fair here, I want to throw a caveat to Mahomes. No Worthy for most of the game. No Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
So until we see those guys, it's going to be really difficult to judge this Mahomes offense and this Chiefs offense. From what I saw, though, I'm concerned. I am concerned. The offensive line, which I think me both and Cade and myself, and especially on my channel, we have been saying this offensive line sucks. Or maybe not sucks. We'll take a step back. When you replace a Joe Thuney with a second-year guy in Kingsley, and when you replace your left tackle with a rookie coming off an injury, and you still have Jawan Taylor starting at right tackle, it's going to be difficult. Now, Mahomes does a great job of getting out of the pocket, extending plays, and he didn't get killed in this game, only 2 sacks on the day. But the amount of times that he was flushed out of the pockets was just not great. They could not run the football. Here are these numbers. Isaiah Pacheco, 5 carries, 25 yards. Kareem Hunt, 5 carries for 16 yards. Their leading rusher was Patrick Mahomes, who had 6 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. That means that for their running backs, they ran the ball 10 times total. That tells me that's a team that's not comfortable, not confident in their backs. That is concerning. That is very concerning. Now, granted, Chargers have a good run defense. They have a really good defense. They can force you to pass the football. They could never gain any momentum running the football. That is really concerning for me. Now, I hope when Rashee Rice comes back, it'll help Kelsey out. It'll help Worthy out. I think their passing attack will be better. This offensive line has a lot to figure out, though. So that was my biggest takeaway. Chiefs defense, I also feel like it's just good, borderline great, but missing something. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Justin Reed not being there. Maybe it's an additional pass rusher. But I feel like they're just missing something, but they'll still be good. I'm worried about this offensive line, though.
I'm in the same spot as you, Metro. I think it really comes down to, luckily for them, as I was going to say, I think it really comes down to coaching. Luckily for them, they have some damn good coaching on this team. The X's and O's have to be a level up or 2 or 3 against their opponents going forward to win some games. When your O-line's struggling and you run the ball 10 times all game, that's not a winning formula, like you mentioned. It's just simply not going to work out. So X's and O's have to be fantastic on offense going forward. And luckily with Patrick Mahomes, you can make some shit happen. And then on defense, it looked good. Like, I'm not going to say it was bad. Like, they played well. Herbert just had a fantastic game. He was making throws that just majority of humans can't make, and they won't have to worry about stuff like that down the stretch of this season. But guys are out for a little bit. You spoke of Rice. When Rice comes back, this will definitely help us a little bit. I do have concerns about Worthy being in a brace for the foreseeable future because he dislocated that shoulder. That looked very painful on that mesh concept. They're going to figure it out, as they always do. But this is not, dare I say, this is not the Chiefs team I'm used to seeing to start a season. They are lacking a little bit of firepower. But they're going to be just fine. They're going to make the playoffs. And they're just not the juggernaut we used to know.
Yeah, that's very fair. One of the things that I think is sort of a theme for the week one, we're watching Ravens, Bills right now. These might be the 2 best teams in the entire NFL. A lot of those upper echelon teams, they have flaws. Kansas City has flaws. Philadelphia has flaws. The Detroit Lions have flaws. We'll get to them here in a little bit. As Cade was saying, maybe a lot of flaws. Every single top team has a flaw. Baltimore, I know they don't really have a roster flaw. Their flaw is they can't win in the playoffs. Buffalo, kind of the same story. They can't beat Kansas City in the playoffs. So we will wait and see. All in all, fun game. Let's move on to our noon game starting off. Do you want to start off with Miami versus Indy? Because I think this is one of the stories.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Let's go to Miami versus Indy, like Metro just mentioned. It was 8 Miami to 33 the Indianapolis Colts. Metro and I, we did a pick-up last week for every team in the NFL. We went Splitsville. He went with the Colts. I went with the Dolphins. And this was the biggest discrepancy out of the entire league. Boy, do I look stupid. Tua was getting attacked all day long. He had 3 sacks on him for 13 yards. And I think he fumbled it. He had definitely 2 interceptions. Just a rough day overall. You had Tyreek Hill on the sideline, clearly upset. I mean, very clearly upset. Vibes are bad. When there's smoke, there's typically fire, and we saw smoke all offseason, and it showed on full display in Indy this weekend. On a lighter note, Daniel Jones looked fantastic.
Indiana Jones.
22 for 29, 272 yards and a touchdown. Oh, wait, there's more. Also on the ground attack, he had 7 rushes for 26 yards and 2 touchdowns there as well. 3 total TDs, a hat trick for the man, Indiana Jones. Awesome day for him and his crew. Jonathan Taylor tote the rock for 18 carries on 71 yards. Pittman got busy in the receiving game. The rookie Tyler Warren had a good day for 76 yards. Alec Pierce did his thing. Donnie Mitchell got a couple catches. It was a good overall team win. This defense looked stout. They were given 2 a hell all day long. And the offense could not be stopped. It was a team that looked like they found themselves in the midst of chaos in the preseason, and a team that looked like they didn't know where to begin. That's what it was. It was the complete opposite, I would say, culture on each side of the ball, and you could see that on full display all game long. But, Metro, what was your takeaway from this game, sir?
I think you nailed it. My biggest takeaway, and I don't confirm this stat for me, but I heard it on Red Zone. They said Daniel Jones is the first quarterback ever in recent history to score on every single possession in a game. And that includes kneel downs. So if you had a kneel down, then you're disqualified. They didn't kneel the ball down. So Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. He's a better quarterback than Peyton Manning. I mean, it's confirmed now. 7 possessions, 7 points scored, and boy, do I have to eat that one. I was the guy carrying the flag for. You know what's funny? During the live stream, every time I saw Anthony Richardson, I was like, AR doing his job. Feed him that water, buddy. Give him that high five. I'll give Richardson credit. He was clipboarding. I'll give Richardson credit. He at least was smiling throughout and giving high fives. So
that's awesome. Good for him.
That's good. Boy, where do we start with this game? With the Dolphins, I'm not going to say fire them yet. I'm not going to say trade Tua, trade Tyreek, trade Waddle, trade everybody, tear the whole house down. Not going to say that yet. But we're getting pretty close. We are getting really close to tearing this thing down. If this does not improve by week 4 or 5, well, if they get beat like this again in week 2, I think the hot seat is on fire. So I think that you have to really start to consider what's going on right here. This is a horrendous performance. You have had weeks and months to prepare for this game, and it felt like one coach in Shane Steichen, who's also on the hot seat, came in with guns a-blazing, ready to go, had his team prepared and fired up, compared to a team that was not ready at all. So for the Miami Dolphins, you better find a way. Who's their week 2 opponent, by the way? They got to figure it out.
I'll tell you right now, in 3-2 New England, they're going to be at home against New England. They could win that. All right, let's just call it what it is. They're good at home. They're good in September. But New England's no joke, man. They're going to be feisty this year. Like if they always say when you start a game, at least back in my 5-year-old days, they say if you hit them hardest first, it sets the tone for the whole day. I know New England is going to hit them harder first. And if you get a shot under the chin and you don't want to go back out there on the field, obviously these are all grown men I'm talking about right here, but that is a thing. We saw how poor the vibes were in this game. I think it only gets worse for New England in my eyes. But what about you, Metro?
If they start the season off 0-3, because they're going to lose to Buffalo, and after the Jets game, wouldn't be surprised with 0-4. So if they start the season off 0-3 or 0-4, yeah, you're done. It's done. My next question: when does Tyreek Hill get traded? Because he was a no-show.
Real.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be. He does not want to be there. He's made it very known for a while that he's frustrated. He wants to win. And he made it known in the game. He was yelling at coaches and clearly pissed off. I had some people in my chat give me some suggestions, and they were saying San Francisco. Didn't really agree with that one. I suggested Pittsburgh. Put Tyreek next to DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year. I thought that might work. It's that bad, though, where we are already talking about potential trade destinations after 1 week. Tua Tagovailoa, you got to think about his future too.
You do.
And I got to be honest with you. I think Tua's a good quarterback. I don't think there'd be a good market for Tua. I just don't think there'd be a lot of teams that interested in him. Because, number one, he's paid super high. Number two, he has clear limitations, concussion issues. And he's, I think, now into his 3rd year of the deal? So you have to live with that contract for a year or 2 years? I think Miami's kind of stuck there. The only team that I think would maybe give him a shot would be, ironically, the Colts after this year if Daniel Jones doesn't work out. Maybe Fair. They do if they don't want to go the young route. Somebody said the LA Rams. I kind of could see it with that system. But, again, when you're taking on Tua, you're taking on the history of injuries. You're taking on the playoff success. You're taking on the contract. So Miami has a lot of questions to answer, and unfortunately, I think the best course of action for them is to start preparing for the future. Tear the house down, get picks. You have some young talent, so it's not completely over. Devon Achane, got to give him the rock more. But, yeah, it's time for a full culture reset in Miami. Culture, personnel, coaching, everything. It's got to get torn down.
Yeah, honestly, Metro, I feel that in my heart. personally, I've been in rooms where these are grown men's jobs and their families on the line, so I'm not going to put the target on his head quite yet. But damn it, if you saw that sideline like we saw today, it is real close. When your players are throwing a fit in the first quarter and you have no unity going to the third or the fourth, and you leave the game pissed off, not together, horrible sign. Horrible sign. If they left in a good, even if they got their ass kicked, they left in a decent mood and they're like, hey, you know what, we're going to figure this out. Completely different story. Nothing was being held together. And one more thing I want to mention on this, and this is just me thinking like as a human, like put football to the side for a minute. They're in Miami. If they lose 3-4 games in a row, you think in Miami, Florida, you're just not gonna you can do whatever the hell you want, is my point. You're not in Green Bay where it's only football. You're going to have these players having a great time. The season's going to be over for them. They're going to be working there 9 to 5, of course, but they're going to be enjoying themselves on the weekends, and the culture's lost. The season's over. They know it. It's a real slippery slope in my eyes.
Yeah, well, that's where it comes down to, can you find a guy who can set the culture? And unfortunately, I don't think Mike McDaniel's the guy. He seems too much to be the cool guy. He wants to be the cool guy. And Mike McDaniel, that's Mike Tomlin's a good coach for a reason, right? There's a reason why people like Mike Tomlin as a coach, because he can set a culture. But really unfortunate day for the Dolphins. Great day for Indianapolis, though. Great day for them.
Indiana Jones. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go to a different game. What are we feeling?
Pittsburgh, New York.
Yeah,
great game.
Excellent game. Excellent game. The Steelers went on the road. They went to New Jersey to play the Jets. 34, the Pittsburgh Steelers win to 32 for the Jets. I mean, both quarterbacks balled out. The defense has made some plays as well. You can feel the chemistry in this game with both these quarterbacks being swapped from each other's teams. I'll read some stat lines real quick. Aaron Rodgers was 244 yards for 4 touchdowns on the day. Even though he got sacked 4 times, he was pressured all day long. And then Justin Fields, 22 attempts for 16 completions, 200-plus yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground for 48 rushing yards. Garrett Wilson looked fantastic. Breece Hall had some juice to him. I thought he kind of lost a step last year. It is clearly right back in the place it used to be. And then Steelers' rushing attack, kind of non-existent, but damn was the passing attack there. You had Calvin Austin making some crazy plays through the air, some excellent catches. Everybody got a piece of the ball from Aaron Rodgers. This was fun, man. This is a full-on NFL show. Metro, I'll let you have the floor. You got anything to say about this game?
Yeah, you want to talk about a game that nobody thought was going to be fireworks. I thought this was going to be a defensive slugfest. I had my prediction like 17-13 or 17-9. I actually think that was my score prediction. Like, I genuinely did not see Justin Fields scoring. And boy, was I wrong. This was maybe the most fun game of the week. I mean, we're watching a really good game right now, but this might have been the most fun one. Let me say this. This was arguably Justin Fields' best game, and this was Aaron Rodgers' best game in a long time too. So we got to see some really good play from quarterbacks. With that said, I come away from this game more worried for Pittsburgh than I do feel good. Now, I'll get to Pittsburgh in a second, but I want to keep that in the back of everyone's mind. For the Jets side of things, I'm leaving this game feeling better now than what I did a week before, because I just saw Justin Fields dice up a really good Pittsburgh defense. I saw Breece Hall run for over 100 yards. I saw Garrett Wilson make some great catches. I saw this team, I mean, in all fairness, probably should have won this game when you look at the statistics and just how dominant they were. The offensive line, I thought, was really solid on the day. Penalties, you got to clean up. 7 penalties for 74 yards. By the way, a huge theme throughout the week. As we go through this, I might mention penalties here and there. A lot of penalties thrown. This one had 11 total. This was actually on the shorter end here. Only 2 punts on the day. 50% on third down efficiency. Ideally, you want to get 2 for 2 on fourth down, but they were 1 for 2. They outplayed Pittsburgh in almost every way, but one has a veteran quarterback in Aaron Rodgers that can clutch it up when he needs to. One has a quarterback that made some plays, but the team around him is just a little bit lacking right now. So I feel really good about the Jets. Not necessarily saying they're going to make a playoff or anything like that, but I think a realistic season for them could be something along the lines of 7 wins now, 8 wins or so. Which, I mean, I had them probably winning 5 or 6 at best. So now I feel like they can win an extra 2 games or so. For Pittsburgh, I feel great now about the offense. The offense showed life, and that's really good. Granted, you're going against the Jets. The Jets don't have a great defense. But I'm worried about that defense now. If it's you cannot let Justin Fields have a total of 400 total yards. You can't give up 182 rushing yards. You cannot give up 212 passing yards, or 218, sorry. Just can't happen. You got to get more sacks. You have to force turnovers. This game got a little dicey at the end, and that's too close for comfort for me. I think for Pittsburgh, you got to feel good about your offense now, which has ironically been the issue the past few years. But now I'm a little bit like, what happened with this defense, right? If the defense figures things out and this offense stays the same, we could be talking about a really special team. But I need to see it first. Not happy with what I saw from the defense, but pretty happy with what I saw from the offense. Not the offensive line, though. Those guys got to block. They got to block.
I mean, you're spot on right there. To tack on just a basic ass analysis right here. If I'm fans of either team, I'm leaving this game happy. There's things to work on with every team there is. But the Steelers, you saw your quarterback, who is an unk, to say the least, throw 4 touchdowns and did his damn thing. He looked like a veteran. Love to see it.
He looked happy. He looked happy, Metro. That is a fantastic point, sir. That might be the hardest thing in them all. Forget 4 touchdowns. Happiness is key here for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. He looked happy while getting sacked. That's rare. And then if you're the Jets, you have a scrappy team in the first year of a head coach. What more do you want? Even if you don't go to the playoffs this year, right? Because I think we know, even if you go, guys, it's going to be pretty rough sledding if you get to the dance. But that's okay. That's not what this year is for. You want to be competitive. You want to look strong. Damn it, did y'all look strong against a damn good team. I'm fired up if I'm a Jets fan. And I have a question for you, Metro. Unless you have any other things on this game real quick. I want to do a quick comp. No, go for it. Let's hear it.
Which losing team fans should be happier, the Jets or the Cowboys?
Ooh.
Both went against good opponents.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles are better. But different stages of the program, but both should feel good about themselves. Who should feel better, though?
I'll say Cowboys fans, because you know Dak is a good quarterback. We don't know Justin is a good quarterback, but if you're a Jets fan, this was a great positive sign. For Dallas fans, Dallas could potentially make the playoffs. Like this game was proof that they have a competitive team that can make a playoff spot. For the Jets, you're looking at this and saying, hey, we might win 2 more games or so. But great first game here for Aaron Glenn, and boy, did Detroit miss him.
Oh, did we miss him? We won't go there yet, but do you want to go to Tampa Bay and Atlanta? I thought this game was an absolute I did not expect it, to be honest. You game with that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. Let's go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Atlanta Falcons home stadium. Tampa won in a nail-biter, 23-20. The Falcons took it to a man. Michael Penix Jr. looked good. When you let a second-year quarterback throw the ball 42 times, you have belief in this guy. He had 298 yards. Go ahead.
Just wait till you see Drake May. Just wait. Just wait.
Just wait, buddy. He had 298 yards and 1 touchdown, no picks in the day. Pretty well protected. And then Bijan Robinson looked phenomenal. Not Bijan, it's Bijan, we found out this year. Bijan Robinson looked phenomenal. The passing attack. Ooh, Kyle Pitts, my man. Kyle Pitts had a day. Look at the kid go. Drake London looked good. Bijan also had a great day through the receiving. But this game overall, what I learned was the Falcons are better than we thought. Their defense was balling out. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is a damn good offense, and they held them to 23, and it took them a while to get to 23, by the way. This was a nail-biter the entire way through. They only had 10 points in the first half. Tampa Bay. The Atlanta Falcons defense looks stout. They have 2 new defensive backs in that rotation that they just drafted, and they also have a couple of pass rushers that are doing pretty well. I like this team. I like their future. But, Metro, what did you take away from this game?
My biggest takeaway is that Michael Penix Jr. is a good-ass quarterback. That's what I saw. 27-42 for 298, 1 touchdown, no picks, no interception or no fumbles. And he did this in a day where his 2 running backs combined for 22 carries and 48 yards total. That's not good. But on the day, Bijan, 6 for 100 passing. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 59. Drake London, who, by the way, missed, I think, half of the fourth quarter. He got injured. 8 catches for 55. Ray McCloud, 3 for 51. Casey Washington, 3 for 33. This guy was throwing it all across the yard, and he had a nice day. For Tampa Bay, it felt like they were going through the motions early on. It felt like they just couldn't get rhythm going. They didn't run the ball that effectively. It felt like Baker was just not on all the way. Then it felt like when they needed to get it, they found a way. They had that big late drive late in the game. They made some plays in the middle. It felt like when they needed to get going, they got going. Chase McLaughlin, please make your extra points. Please make your kicks, because you almost cost the Buccaneers the game here. Atlanta, Younghoe Koo, please make your kicks. It's. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's your job, buddy. You got to make those kicks. You would have tied the game up to go to overtime had he made the kick. He did not make it. So, if you're Atlanta, you feel pretty good right now. You got some pressure on the quarterback. You were able to disguise some looks. You had a lot of new faces on the defense. Xavier Watts led the team in tackles today, which was a great sign for his young career. You got some pass rushers. There's still more to see. There's still more to grow and to figure out. But I think a positive sign here for this young Atlanta team. I do worry a little bit about the offensive line. Now, I believe they're missing a starter on the offensive line somewhere. I can't quite remember, so my apologies. But I know there's a new starting center now. The inability to run the football was concerning. However, they're going up against a diesel truck in Vita Vea. All right? They're going up against a big mother effer, so I can give them a pass. One last shout out here.
Good comp.
I know. One last shout out here. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver 1. That is a great game for him. 4 for 67, the game-winning touchdown, and another touchdown in this game. Mike Evans, go chill out, man. You're good, Unc. We don't need you no more. We got our new, young, fun toy in Emeka Egbuka. You know that meme? I don't know if you know it or not, where, is it Skip Bayless? No, it's, oh my gosh, what's his name? Colin Coward. When Ben Simmons had like a good year, he's like, we're good, LeBron. You can retire now. We got the guy in Ben Simmons.
Sit down, LeBron. Step aside. Emeka Egbuka is here. I was about to say, I'm like, you dead ass serious? Don't disrespect Mike like that. That man is a Hall of Famer, Metro.
No, I mean, but in reality, Mecca could end up being the wide receiver 1 this year. He had a great game. He seems to have a connection there. I love what I'm seeing from him. Bucky Irving will get going as the season goes on. I think there's a lot more for both these teams to figure out. But competitive game for Atlanta. Atlanta and Tampa Bay are going to be competing heavily for this division. Wouldn't be surprised if both these teams make the playoffs. I was really excited to see what I saw from Michael Penix, though.
It was a blast. Metro, I actually wrote down 5 things that I learned, and one of them tied into this game. What I said was, due to the Falcons committing to developing Michael Penix is already better than Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young. That was my hot. I mean, not even hot. I just think it is what it is. This guy's playing really well. He's comfortable. He's got weapons around him, a solid O-line, and it's showing on the field.
Well, speaking of Bryce and Trevor, do you want to talk Panthers-Jags? Because kind of a fun watch, but also a bad watch.
Yeah, it was. This is the game. Like, this is what we expected. We expected Pittsburgh and the Jets to be just boring, and this is kind of the more boring game in the end, at least in my end. It was more of a defensive slugfest in my eyes. Let's go to this game. The Carolina Panthers went on the road to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars win 26-10 against the Panthers. We mentioned the quarterback, so I'll spit their stat line real quick. Bryce Young, 35 attempts, 18 completions, 154, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Pretty rough. And then if we go over to T-Law, he was 19 for 31 attempts, 178 through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So Bryce had a bad day. T-Law had a mad day, another T-Law per usual day. But overall, there's there's some good things to take away from this game. Travis Etienne went absolutely ballistic again. 16 carries for 143 on the ground. Rushing game looks stout for Jacksonville. Then also Chuba Hubbard was doing his thing as well. Only 57 yards, but also had a good day. Caught a touchdown as well through the air. Overall, Metro, I'm going to be honest, I saw glimpses of this because I was watching Red Zone, and they didn't play this a lot, to say the least. What did you take away from this game?
Yeah, I was also watching Red Zone. I actually had to go back and watch the highlights, and I had to actually look up a lot of videos to see what actually happened in this game, because Red Zone was just not a fan of this one. They were like, who cares? Also, weather delay too, which also made it kind of a weird experience. My biggest takeaways was Bryce Young looked like Bryce Young prior to his good stretch. He had like a run where he was all happy and pointed forward. And I was like, okay, this is where Bryce starts to cook. And it never really came to fruition. I mean, I want to give him, the benefit of the doubt here. There was a lot of pressure on him. A lot of things weren't going his way. They also got rid of his safety blanket in Adam Thielen, which I think is a mistake. So I want to give him a bit of a break here. Plus, they didn't run the ball terribly effectively. Bryce has to play better. I mean, this is your prove-it year. You cannot have a game where you get beat by 16 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It just can't happen. You have to play better. I was very disappointed with what I saw from the Panthers. I was hoping to see a continuation of what we saw late into last year. We didn't see that. This looked like a different team. Ted McMillan, I was happy to see him get going, 5 for 68. That was nice to see, but they got to get it together. Because if not, I'm looking at Bryce and I'm saying, you haven't done nothing for me. I mean, you haven't done it for me. So worried about them. They got to get it going. I'm not going to throw out Bryce Young quite yet. Let's wait and see. He needs more time. But, man, it's the number of weeks that I'm willing to give him time is starting to run thin. As for the Jaguars, I thought their offense moved the ball somewhat effectively. 378 total yards, 5 for 12 on third down, 19 first downs. Penalties killed them this game, 11 for 93. It killed them. Travis Hunter got used a little bit. The biggest cardinal sin for this Jaguars team that can never, ever, ever happen again, Brian Thomas Jr. has to get the ball more than one time. He had the ball 2 times. One rush for 9 yards and 1 catch for 11 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. is a potential top 10 quarterback. It just simply put cannot happen. Receiver, I meant. Simply put, cannot happen. He has to get the ball in his hands multiple times. All right, that's one thing. Travis Hunter, 6 catches for 33 yards, a lot of underneath stuff. We got to get the ball to BTJ. That is the one thing I want to see. But I did like what I saw from the offense. They moved the ball effectively. Travis Etienne, stellar day, had a big run, made several big plays. That's a positive sign for him because he's also kind of in that weird spot where he's trying to figure out his career as well. So good start for him. BTJ got to get going. Love what I saw from Jacksonville's defense. That was really impressive. It's the Carolina Panthers, though. Beat a good team, and we'll talk about you a little bit later. For now, great start to your season. Fix all the issues. No more penalties. Get the ball to BTJ more. ETN, keep doing what you're doing. Bryce Young, clock is ticking.
Feel that. And going on that Bryce Young conversation, their next 3 to 4 games is going to be Arizona, Atlanta, New England, Miami, Dallas, Jets. Then the schedule gets pretty rough. But what I'm saying here is you can make a good run out of those 5-6 games. There's no juggernaut in that schedule. So if he wants to outperform and do his thing, the time is now. He can still do it. He doesn't have like a Denver defense next week, nothing stupid like that. So I think Bryce Young can still still turn this thing around and have a good season. We're rooting for him, of course. We are Bryce Young fans. Anything else, your matchup, before I go to the Bengals and Browns?
No, Bengals and Browns. Ugh, I don't want to talk about this, bro. This pisses me off.
This is disgusting. I wrote 5 things down, as I mentioned earlier, and one of them was, if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, we are at DEFCON 5. 1 is the worst. 5 is, if you ever signal DEFCON 5 for the United States, some shit's going seriously wrong. If we are beating the Browns by 1 point, we have a problem. Joe Burrow was 14 for 23, 113 and 1 touchdown, 0 picks. He was sacked 3 times, had some pressure, but overall, when I hear Joe Burrow, I expect a little bit more than that personally. I'm not going to judge the guy. I work at McDonald's, and he works in the NFL. So, but that stat line, we don't expect that. We expect more going forward. Joe Flacco threw the ball around. 31 for 45, 290, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice. Browns look pretty solid, man, and they gave his team a run for their money. So one person I do want to call out, Harold Fannin Jr., the rookie tight end, number 44, had himself a day, 7 catches, 63 yards. Overall, if Jamar Chase gets the ball twice, he was targeted 5 times, but he got the ball twice, we are doing something wrong. Whoever is calling the plays needs to check themselves because that is unacceptable. We mentioned BTJ only getting 1 or 2 catches. This is even worse. This is Jamar Chase. Come on, man. Give this guy the ball. throw him some 50-50 balls, more like 90-10 balls. He needs to get the ball more his way. That's just my anger here, Metro. I think the Bengals have a ton of talent, on offense at least, and it did not show. What were your thoughts?
Here are these numbers. Total yards, Browns, 327. Cincinnati, 141.
Come on,
Passing,
dog.
278 Cleveland, 95 Cincinnati. Rushing, 49 Cleveland, not good. 46 Cincinnati. If Cincinnati plays like this versus any team, not named Cleveland, maybe not Tennessee as well, they're losing. If they play the Saints like this, they're losing. If they play the Cowboys like this, they're losing. If they play any competent team in the AFC, maybe even the Miami Dolphins, not sure though, they're losing. All right, they will
Bishop
not
Sycamore.
win.
Are you kidding me? 17 points on the Browns?
Bishop Sycamore would maybe only lose by 3 in this game. All right, Joe Burrow, you got to play better. It's so weird how this team cannot get going in week ones. They played in the preseason to try and get their offense going and ready. They head into this game. Joe Flacco outgains Joe Burrow by almost 160 passing yards. The only reason why the Browns did not win this game, because they have a shitty kicker who can't make kicks, and they had 2 stupid turnovers that were not Joe Flacco's fault. Both of them were drops by the receiver that got flung up in the air, and Cincinnati's defense got lucky as hell to get them. The Bengals should not have won this game. If I'm a Bengals fan, this was positive on the defense, but abysmal on the offense. This should never, ever happen ever again. And not just for the Bengals. This should not happen to any team. This looked like a JV team versus a varsity team on the offensive end for the Bengals. It was just straight up garbage. It was terrible. Joe Burrow, you got to play better. You are too talented. You want to be an MVP? You cannot do this. And Jamar Chase, you want to win Offensive Player of the Year? Can't do this.
And if we want to get things right, bless the heavens, we play Jacksonville next week at home. So that's a get-right game here for the Bengals. And then after that, it's Buckshot, Minnesota, Denver, Detroit, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. A pretty rough stretch of games there.
What's their schedule? Hold on. Say that again.
So first, we have Jacksonville. We're at home. And then after that, It is Buckshot all the way. Minnesota, Denver, both on the road. At home, Detroit. On the road, Green Bay. At home, Pittsburgh. Not an easy defensive schedule down the road.
And they got Buffalo and Baltimore later in the season. All right. They got Baltimore twice down the stretch too. All right. I'm hitting the panic button. This team sucks. I'm kidding. We'll see.
Just kidding. Maybe. We don't know. But
maybe.
Definitely keep your head on a swivel. They need to show out in week 2 and have a get-right game, which I believe they will. I mean, this is Joe Burrow. This is Jamar Chase. These are 2 of the most talented players in the NFL. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be them. Anything else here, Metro? Because I think I've said my piece.
I have Burrow and Chase in fantasy. They need to lock in. All right, you got to lock in for
That's
me,
why
Burrow.
you're so upset.
Well, I did win my game because my sister's team is hot trash. But, well, at least I think I'm going to win the game. It's still going on. But I need 14 points from Justin Jefferson and James Cook. So if I can get that, we're good. Yeah. We'll see. Anyways, Arizona, New Orleans.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Let's go to this game. Arizona went on the road, went to New Orleans to play the Saints. Cardinals win 20-13. First half, we had about, look at this, 27 points scored overall. Second half, only 6 points from both teams. A defensive battle down the back half of this game. Metro, what I saw was Kyler looked fine. He scored touchdowns, man, but 50-50. If you've seen War Dogs, where he goes 50-50, are we going to live? That's what it felt like when I'm talking about Kyler Murray's performance right here. Spencer Rattler, he was letting that thing fly, man. He threw the ball 46 times, no touchdowns, no picks, but he was moving the ball down the field overall. Kyler, though, got to mention, he was getting attacked through the rush game. 5 sacks, 33 yards on those sacks. Cardinals are running the ball very efficiently, which confuses me why they are still being pressured so much, because you think they'd stay true to themselves in the pass rush with this much rushing attack. But overall, Metro, what did you see? I'm a big Cardinals guy this year. I think they're going to be a very good team. But when you go 7 points up on the Saints in week 1, I expect a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I think we both thought the Cardinals were going to dominate this game. It felt like they couldn't run the ball to the extent they wanted to. Trey Benson had a nice game, but he also had like one really big carry that makes up most of his numbers. James Conner was 12 for 39. It felt like he was kind of stuck in the mud there a little bit. Kyler played fine. And I think the biggest bright spot for me was Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 for 71 and 1 touchdown. That's the best thing that came from this game. You know, Cardinals defense did their job. I mean, this is not a great Saints offense, so they did their job. You know, Kellen Moore throwing the ball 46 times with Spencer Rattler. All right, Kellen. All right, I see you. Trying to get this guy killed, but all right, I see you. And, you know, give Rattler credit. Rattler played about as good as maybe you would expect for him. He kept this team in it. This is just not a talented Saints team. But still, they outgained the Arizona Cardinals 315 to 276. They outpassed them. The only thing that really killed them, they were 1 for 4 in the red zone, and they were 2 for 3 on field goals. So they did not convert when they got to the red zone. They kicked field goals instead of touchdowns. Whereas Arizona, they were 2 for 3 in the red zone, and they just made more plays down the stretch. You know, am I concerned about Arizona after this game? No, I'm not. It felt like they were just going through the motions with this one. I think they realized they were going to win. In the second half, they were up 17-10. Probably was thinking, oh, we can cruise to a victory, especially when it came to 20-10. They thought they could just cruise through a victory. You take your foot off the pedal, you relax a little bit. New Orleans starts to put their foot on the pedal. They get the 3, then they get the ball back, and they get a chance to go win the game. Almost did, or not go win the game, but go tie the game. Almost did it. Did not quite convert all the way. I feel a little bit better about Spencer Rattler at quarterback, but I'm also not like, you know, I wasn't overwhelmed or anything like that. But, you know, he did his job. Arizona needs to lock in because it's only going to get harder from here. It's only going to get harder. They have, after this week, well, no, it's not. It's literally not. They go against Carolina. So they're good there.
You're good, baby. You're good. You take your time, Rocky.
Yeah, take your time. But then you have San Francisco, which San Francisco has their own faults. They can't kick a damn football to save their life. They got Seattle, but then they got Tennessee. Yeah, they're good. All right, Arizona, just take it easy, man. You guys can chill a little bit for a few weeks, but don't chill too much or else you're going to lose.
It's like a gradual takeoff. Ease your way into it.
Yeah.
You deserve it, Arizona. You've been working very hard. Saints fans, for Spencer Rattler, like Metro mentioned, if he throws the ball 46 times and has 0 turnovers, I'm smiling ear to ear. That's about as well as he could have performed. Overall, I think you should be happy that you went toe-to-toe with the Cardinals like this at home. What's to say in the future? I don't know. Let's hold our breath and see what happens. Do you want to go to our next game, Metro, or have any final thoughts?
Yes, Giants or Commanders, or Giants and Commanders.
Let's do the Giants and Commanders. In this game, Washington went on the... Oh, I lied. Giants went on the road. They went to Washington, D.C. Commanders won 21-6. Pretty brutal ass beating. You saw a lot of what you would expect in this game. Mr. Daniels throwing dimes, crosser routes, out routes. The dude looked fantastic per usual, calm, steady, and collective. He had a great day. Russell Wilson, he was pretty rough. I mean, 17 for 37, 168 overall for his yardage. Ran a little bit, 2 for 44 yards on the ground. No interceptions, no touchdowns. Just not what they needed. The kind of juice they needed to win this game. Wan'Dale Robinson looked pretty good in my eyes. Just trying to find some positives here for the Giants. Their defense, I think, played decently well. Obviously, they made mistakes here for 21 points to be on the board for the Commanders, but that pass rush looks pretty good. Did Brian Burns get hurt at one point? I saw him hobble to the sideline. Is that true?
I couldn't tell you if he came back, but he did have 2 sacks on the day. But he did get hurt at some point. But I think he should be fine. At least I hope.
Gotcha. My question to you, Metro, is the Giants' schedule is hell on earth down the stretch. Do you feel confident going to this stretch, or are you very concerned?
No. I think we both, as we were getting closer to the season, started feeling better about the Giants, especially how they looked in preseason. But I feel like we got catfished a little bit because that offense was hot ass. They were terrible. Russell Wilson, I want to give him as much slack as I can because they did not run the football at all, and he was sacked twice, but had pressure on him all day long. What was the difference in this game for me? New York came away 0 for 2 in the red zone. Washington came out 3 for 4. So that's part of it. The other part of it, you got to be able to run the football. You have to be able to protect your quarterback. And you got to get the ball to Malik Neighbors, who Neighbors had a fine day, 5 for 71. That's okay. Yeah, Giants defense kept them in the game. I thought Jaden Daniels was good. I didn't think he was incredible, but it wasn't like he had a – we've all been saying, oh, sophomore slump this, sophomore slump that. He's good. He's a good quarterback. He just is good. He had a fine day. It was not his best day, but he still finished the day 19 for 30, 230 yards, touchdown. He ran the ball for 68 yards. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Mr. Bill himself. I don't know why they call him Bill. Why do they call him Bill?
He prefers it, he said, because his last name or his whole name's so hard to say.
Well, we're going to call him Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Even though he has to be called Bill, we're going to get Ja'Cory. Well,
we're going to say Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt every time. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say Bill, actually. That's too much. So for Bill, he had a good day. Great starting day for him. He had the most carries of the running backs, him, Eckler, and Jeremy McNichols. And you know what? We got to give credit to Unk. Deebo Samuel, 7 for 77 and a rushing touchdown. And I believe he was taking kickoffs. Unk still got it.
That's so sick.
Yeah, Unk still got it. Number 1, Unk still got it. Deebo, welcome to Washington. They're going to use you well. Giants, it's just a matter of time until Jackson Dart plays. I almost think that maybe Jameis Winston could give this offense like some juice in a good way and a bad way. Like sometimes I think it's okay if I'd rather have a quarterback who throws 3 touchdowns and 2 picks every game over a quarterback that gives me 115 yards and 0 touchdowns every game.
I think the beauty of it is, like you just mentioned, you got to have some juice to move the ball. But you've seen windows of Jameis in a game where he's throwing 3 touchdowns, he's got 200 yards, and like you're in the casino, you're hitting the blackjack table, you're winning money. Now get the hell out the casino. Have we ever thought about with Jameis, when he goes for 2 touchdowns and 200 yards, before he flips the switch to throw interceptions, how about we bring in Russ to just game manage and not do anything for the fourth quarter? Just a concept, just throwing it out there.
I was literally going to say the exact same thing. Like, let's just throw Jameis in there for 3 quarters. Let him throw 2 touchdowns and a pick. And then we'll let Russell Wilson step in and just barely lead the offense, right? Just keep it steady. Don't throw picks. That's the biggest thing.
And if it's a game-winning drive, you pull the goalie and bring Jameis right back in.
Yes, 100%. I 100% agree. Question, does this game make you feel better or worse? Well, I think I know the answer. How much worse does this make you feel about Brian Dable's job security? Because the offense is his go-to thing, and in this game, the offense suck.
They were going to lose this. Go ahead.
Or are you going to wait for Jackson Dart? That's the thing.
I'm not going to pin this on Brian. I think Russell is pretty limited what he can do for your offense. He just doesn't have the drive on the ball like he used to. He can throw moon balls down the sideline, or he can throw a stick route, and that's kind of all. That's really it right now, which is okay. That's more than some of the quarterbacks in the league, but that limits your offense severely. With that being said, I figured they were going to lose like this by about 14 points, so doesn't change my thought process. Now they play Dallas next week on the road. I want to see some competitive nature in that game. I want that to be with. I know you don't, Metro. I know you're a Cowboys fan, man. But I want to see it within 7 for this Giants team. If you can't go toe to toe with your in-division rival, who is probably on the lower end of your division, just to call it what it is, because you traded Micah away. I have concerns.
Just all right, I guess.
What about you, Metro? What are you thinking? I know you asked me a question and you were being nice, and I used it to dog on your Cowboys. But
no, it's okay.
What are your thoughts?
It's okay. Next time I'll just bring up Michigan State's record. All right, I'll bring it up.
2-0.
Well, for now.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. You see that game, buddy? You see that game? Overtime, double overtime win.
Versus who?
Boston College, baby.
Boston College. They're not bad, actually. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Boston College. All right.
Yeah,
right.
man.
Anyways, all right, you win this one, but best know when Michigan State loses, I'm bringing it up.
Go
So we record this right after Saturday, so I'll figure it out.
Run it up, buddy.
My thought process on Brian Dable, I think his job is safe as long as Jackson Dart shows life. The second Dart goes in there and struggles, it's wraps. It's wraps. So we'll see.
I think that's perfect. So with that being said, are we keeping Dart out as long as possible? Because he is the lifeline. He's the lifeline to the coach, because it goes quarterback, coach, GM. And they all know that. Once someone goes, someone now has to go. Where do you put the blame on? So I think you keep Dart in your back pocket literally until you're in the double-digit weeks of the NFL season.
Yeah, I think the perfect time to bring him out is because their schedule is brutal. There's really not a great time.
No.
To me, it would be week 13 because you get the Patriots and then a bye week. And then you got Washington, Minnesota, Las Vegas, Dallas.
I like
There's
that.
some good teams there, but you could be competitive with them because there's a New Orleans Saints game in there, but then right after you have Philadelphia, then you have San Francisco, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit. It's just not happening. New England in week 13, you get a decent team where you can show off your talent. Then you get a bye to sit, watch film for a week. Then you get Washington again, and Washington's a good team, but they're beatable. Maybe not the Giants beatable, but they can be beat. Minnesota, young quarterback, Las Vegas, Dallas. That would be when I would start Jackson Dart, if you are planning on starting him at all.
I love the breakdown. That is the path for the Giants in this tough-ass schedule. Are you ready to go to the Las Vegas Raiders and the New England Patriots?
Yes. Is this our last noon game, by the way?
I think this is going to be it. And if not, yep,
Okay.
You were correct. This is our last noon game. Las Vegas goes on the road to play the Patriots. They win on the road 20-13 against the Pats. Geno Smith, who they just acquired, this man was letting the ball absolutely fly. 362 yards on 34 attempts, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 4 sacks. Ashton Jeanty on the day had 38 yards and a touchdown. Brock Bowers, per usual, had 100 yards. Jacoby Myers, 97 against his old team. Trey Tucker, Deontay Thornton. Everybody got a slice of the pie here from Geno Smith. And then, as we mentioned, people throwing the ball like crazy. Drake May threw the ball 46 times in his first game in his sophomore season for 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Overall, man, these are 2 scrappy teams, Pete Carroll and, of course, Mike Vrabel. I love this game. I thought it was great. I thought it was competitive. What was your biggest takeaway from this one? I didn't have a huge one. I just thought it was a good football game.
My biggest takeaway, Patriots offensive line has a long way to go. Long way to go. They had pressure all over Drake May throughout the day. They gave up how many sacks? 4 sacks on the day. It felt like it could have been a lot more. That was one of my biggest takeaways. My second one, and it's almost bar for bar what I said in my predictions video. So this was like a great ego boost for me. Watching this game, just it like injected me. Yes, because what happened in this game was exactly what I thought. This is a young Patriots team that is not experienced yet. And I literally said, word for word, I worry about their offense when they get into the red zone. I think they're going to move the ball fine. I worry about turnovers, and I worry about them in the red zone. What happened today? 1 for 3 in the red zone. They missed a field goal, I'm pretty sure, too. Whereas on the Raiders side, the Raiders have the experience. Experienced quarterback, experienced head coach, 1 for 1 in the red zone, and they also had several big chunk plays as well. So for this Patriots team, I feel just as good now as I did then. I think they're a really good team with a lot of talented pieces, with a lot of things still to figure out, and a lot more development needs to be happen. This offensive line has a long way to go, but Kayshon Boutte, 100 yards. Travion Henderson, I think he should be your RB1. Only 5 carries for him, but I think he needs a bigger role. Harold Landry, 2.5 sacks. Drake May, for the most part, took care of the football. He did have 1 pick, but outside of that interception, I thought he played a decent game. And I think there's a lot of things to feel good about with him.
I love it, man. Perfect breakdown. I got nothing else to say. I thought it was a good game, a good week 1 for both teams in my eyes. Do you want to go to our next one, to our 3 p.m. slate?
Yes, we can talk our 3 p.m. slate. Really quickly, do you want to plug the channels real quick?
I would love to. Guys, we love making content for y'all on this channel together because it's phenomenal on First and 10, but we also make our own content as well. Metro, that handsome man in front of you, waving, giving you the thumbs up, he makes awesome, and folks, I'm not even trying to boost him right now. This is just true. Awesome NFL analysis content at Metro Sports. Go check it out in the description and subscribe down below. Thank you very much. This shit's real fire, folks. Go check it out. And if you want to change the pace, more NFL draft content, even in fall, because you're a sicko, I'm your guy at Cade Rathbone in the description. Go sub. Thank you very much. And if you're enjoying the video, if you drop a like, it boosts the algorithm to the moon. We appreciate you. Y'all are the best. Guys, let's get into the Titans versus the Broncos. The number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, gets sent into the dungeon against this Denver defense. He was sacked, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times for 50 damn yards. threw the ball 28 times, had 112 yards through the air, no picks, no touchdowns, but did fumble in the fourth quarter. And frankly, Metro, I thought he played about as good as you could have played for a baptism into the NFL. But that was pretty much the game. The Broncos didn't really move the ball like I expected them to. The Titans feel like a lackluster roster on defense in my eyes, and it didn't feel like that because they were playing well. Bo Nix had 2 interceptions on the day. Kind of uncharacteristic of him. Slump on the way? Just kidding. I think he's going to be just fine. I think it's just a week 1, butterflies getting shaken out here. But they need to work on some things. Speaking of Denver, of course, you cannot have a game this tight with the Titans when you're expected to go to the playoffs this year. Things to look, Metro, honestly, I'd throw it to you. What was your biggest takeaway from this game, man?
This was an uncharacteristic-like game for Denver. Very inconsistent and sloppy on the offensive end. For Tennessee, you had some chances, but realistically speaking, throwing Cam Ward to that Denver defense was an impossible task. It was just impossible. And give Cam Ward credit, he didn't turn the ball over. He made enough plays to keep them competitive. The defense gave them opportunities. I think, 4 turnovers on the day, 2 fumbles lost, and 2 picks. But Cam Ward was not going to win this game. It was just an impossible task for him to do so. Give the kicker credit, 4 for 4. Joey Sly, shout out to him. But Cam Ward, well under 50%, 12 of 28, 112 yards. It was just it was a tough day. This is probably the best defense he's ever seen. Not probably, it is. It's by far the best defense he's ever seen. And it looked like it. Now, Tony Pollard had a nice day. He made some things happen. I want to see more from Calvin Ridley. I want to see more from Alec Ayomaner. I just want to see more from those guys. Defensively, they did their job. 4 turnovers on the day. They kept Bo Nix in check. They got to Bo Nix. They pressured him, got a sack. The 4 turnovers. Tennessee, 13 penalties for 131 yards. Tennessee has a horrible offensive line, which is crazy to say because they just paid a new left tackle. They have J.C. Latham. They've invested so much in that offensive line, but it played horrifically in this one. Granted, maybe a mismatch here because Denver's defense is so good. If you're Tennessee, you got to feel good about your defense, though. Defense played well, made some plays. Offensively, this was about what I expected. So for Denver, clean up the mistakes. Let's convert when you get to the red zone. Let's not turn the ball over 4 times. Let's make plays. If you do that, you'll be fine. Denver's defense is legit. This was just confirmation of that. So we know what both these teams are.
So Daniel Jones of the Indianapolis Colts, just had a phenomenal week, right? Guess what you've earned, Daniel Jones? You're going to play the Denver Broncos. They're going to be their game next week for the Broncos fans out there. I'm looking forward to it because the Colts looked really good against a team that looked pretty bad. And it's going to be pretty fun. And then for the Titans, like you said, hold your head high. You are in the rebuilding stage. And if you're going toe-to-toe with a team like this, I am feeling good about my team personally. Let's pivot, if you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And go on to the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Niners go on the road, win this one 17-13 on the road. Mr. Purdy was moving the ball really well, had a couple turnovers though. He was on 35 attempts. He had 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Only 1 sack. CMC ran the ball for 69 yards. Nice. 33 for Brian Robinson Jr. And then also Purdy had 17 on the ground as well. Ricky Pearsall, 108 yards. What's up, Ricky? He had a huge catch on the day, 43 long. CMC through the receiving attack as well. The team looked good. The moral of the story is 49ers moved the ball really well. They just made some turnovers, and that's what kept Seattle in the game throughout this. But I am concerned for Seattle because their defense is supposed to take a step up this year. For the most part, besides 2 turnovers, San Francisco was doing what they wanted with the ball at all times. And San Fran's not a powerhouse in my eyes. So something to watch out there for the Seahawks fans. Darnold, only 150, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Not a panic button. It's week 1, but just to keep your eye open. Let's see how this develops. Charbonnet had a good day on the ground. He had a touchdown and 47 yards. JSN for 124. He looked phenomenal. Metro, what is something to watch out for each one of these teams and something to look forward for each one of these teams?
Something to look forward to and watch out for 49ers is Christian McCaffrey. Having him be such a huge part of this game was cool. 22 carries and 9 catches on the day. For Seattle, something to keep an eye on is going to be Sam Darnold. That was just not a good enough game from him, but a positive was JSN. For this game, it felt like the Niners should have blown them out. They really should have. They were, let me make sure I get my numbers here, 2 of 5 in the red zone, and they were 1 for 3 in field goals. Right? That right there is just not good enough for them. They also had, let me see how many penalties they had. They also had 9 penalties for 61 yards, and they threw 2 interceptions. If they don't play like trash in a lot of those things, they probably beat them by 30. I mean, it's a 34-13 game, something like that. So Seattle actually stayed in this game based off just some of the weirdness of this Niners team right now. The Niners have an injury with George Kittle. He looked okay, but I think it's a hamstring injury, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Another injury for them. Offensive line for San Francisco, they held up, but they're not great. So I think if you're a Niners fan, you hope that your team can play better moving forward and can fix some of these mistakes. Let's convert in the red zone. Let's make our damn field goals. Let's not throw two picks. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games. For Seattle, I was high on them. Now I'm a little bit worried for them. Defensively, they did enough to create turnovers. They stopped them in the red zone. They did a good job of blocking a field goal, but they still almost gave up 400 total yards. And they gave up 37 minutes of time of possession. And you only had 1 sack on the day. So that's one of my concerns. On the offensive end, it's basically exactly what we said. If this team does not have a good rushing attack, if they do not have good and productive first and second downs, Darnold is not good enough, and this receiving core is not good enough to be productive on third down when it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10. Right? They also did not take advantage of those interceptions often. Outside of JSN, the next leading receiver, 2 catches for 15 yards. JSN quit fumbling the ball. He had a fumble in this game, but JSN did his job. Of the 150 yards that Darnold threw, 124 was Jackson Smith and Jigba. They need to get production from somebody else. Kenneth Walker, 10 carries, 20 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 12 carries, 47 yards. Got to be better at running the football. You have to be competent on first down and second down, because if you want to be able to run that play action, you want to run all these things underneath, like with Cooper Kupp and JSN. You got to be able to run the football. You have to have production on first and second down. This was a game that Seattle had gift wrapped for them. They were driving down the field, potentially with a game-winning score. Then they fumbled the ball again. This is a huge missed opportunity for Seattle. And for San Francisco, this is about as bad as you could have played, and yet you still won this game. So for San Francisco, cool. Seattle, not so cool.
Not so cool. Anything else, Metro? I'm ready to go to the next team.
No, let's talk about your Motor City Kitties.
Here we go. A little bit of pain. Detroit Lions go on the road to the Green Bay Packers. They lose 27-13. Don't be fooled by this score. It should have been more of 35-6. This was kind of an ass-beating of a game to call what it is. I could say stat lines. I'm going to tell you what it is. The Lions were running the ball meh. They kind of got their thing going on in the third quarter, but by then it was too late.
It was worse than meh. It was bad.
I saw a couple of 5-yard carries that I liked. Point is, the Packers were playing cover 3, cover 2, and letting everything happen in front of them. So you cannot go deep when you have that many safeties back there. And it showed for the Lions offense. We only had a whopping, ladies and gentlemen, 3.8 yards per play. That is ass. The average is about 4.8. That does not sound like a big deal. That is probably the worst one I've read today. The Lions could not move the ball, and we were feeling the effects of Ben Johnson. Now, do we overreact? We could. Or we understand there's going to be a little bit of a grace period and a little bit of a transition with a new coordinator. I think that's the biggest thing. And also understanding we just lost an all-pro center in Ragnow. So running up the middle is going to be a little bit harder. That's what I made of this game, Metro. We couldn't do our bread and butter. And with that, we found out really quick on the road against a damn good team what that looks like.
I'm sorry if you just saw my face. DeAndre Hopkins just made an incredible one-handed touchdown grab. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Speaking of one-handed touchdown grabs, that Isaac Tesla grab was disgusting.
I'm going to be honest,
disgusting.
bro. I turned the TV off. I turned it off.
Oh,
I didn't see it.
I did too. I did too, but I scrolled on Twitter, and I was like, oh, my gosh. You got to look at it. Have you not seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen
All
it
right,
yet. I'll look it up
while
right now.
I rant, go look it up. My biggest takeaways for the Detroit Lions, they were able to move the ball methodically down the field occasionally. They were, however, 1 of 4 in the red zone, which is a kind of a theme for today's video of a lot of teams not being productive in the red zone. 7 penalties for 40 yards. The Jared Goff interception was in the red zone too. They were 5 for 15 on third down, and like you mentioned, 3.8 yards per play. Rushing the football, David Montgomery was 11 for 25. Jahmyr Gibbs was 9 for 19. They could not run the football in the first half. Cade mentioned that they got a little bit better in the second half, but it was not productive in the first half. That catch is nasty, huh?
Brother, what?
That catch was nasty. It was a nasty catch.
I'm good. We're going to the Super Bowl.
That catch was disgusting. Defensively speaking, I was stunned at how easily it looked for Green Bay, or how easy it looked for Green Bay. Just chunk plays when they needed to get them. They were able to run the football. Everything was going for them. That is concerning for me in a sense, but I think the Packers are good. So you lost to a good team, but again, it was 27-6 at one point. So I don't know. I hate to overreact to a good team losing to another good team, but in this specific game, everything that you would want to see from them, you did not see. They did not get pressure on the quarterback. They did not run the football effectively. They were not getting chunk plays down the field. They got into a lot of third downs, and they were not converting them. They were not productive in the red zone. Defensively, schematics were wrong. They were not getting pressure on Jordan Love. They were not stuffing the run effectively. They were not covering these receivers. And you talked about it throughout the offseason. New OC, new DC. Now, Lions have been saying, oh, we're going to be cool. We're going to be fine. They've already been in the building. So were Philadelphia's in 2023. They were also in the building, and we all know what happened. You give these guys who maybe shouldn't be coordinators a job, and they suck at it. Who would have thought? Let's be patient. Let's wait and see. I am worried about Detroit after this game. They have a tough schedule. They have more matchups to prove themselves, but they're now 0-1 in the division. And this Packers team, I know Micah only had 1 sack on the day, but Micah Parsons opened the floodgates against an awesome offensive line. By the way, you were not wrong. That starting center you guys have is not good. He is not it.
I won't say he's not good. I think he had a hell of a test, but he needs
True.
to. It's going to be a long season, and he'll get better over time. But like we mentioned in the beginning, it's a learning curve.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, you guys run up the middle so often. And what was not working? The runs up the middle. There was multiple times where he was trying to get to that second level, and those linebackers for Green Bay, who are really athletic, were just not even a threat to him. I mean, he was just he couldn't even get to them. Rashawn Gary had a sack. Lucas Van Ness had a great day. Multiple guys had a sack. Micah Parsons didn't get his first sack till late. It felt like there was so much attention put on Micah that it allowed other guys to have a great day. So we'll see. We could overreact and call the season over for the Lions. It's not. It's not over yet. But they better get their act together soon, or else the Packers might run away with this.
Their schedule's rough. I do think I'm a Lions fan. I'm going to call it what it is. The Lions schedule is so rough. I think the Packers are going to take the NFC North home. Super overreaction, but I'm just looking at the Lions schedule. It's an absolute brutal one. The game we have to win, I'm not hitting the panic button. We're going to rally the troops. I believe in Dan Campbell. Chicago Bears next week at home.
Ooh,
if we cannot throw the ball against the Chicago Bears and run the ball, I'm now very concerned. Now it is, where did this identity of the team go? But as of today, I'm good. Green Bay Packers are a damn good team. I expected them to win the NFC North, and so yeah, I'm gonna have confirmation bias and try to push this to the side personally and keep myself happy and see how week 2 goes.
Yeah, week 2 is gonna be a good test for them. They better win that one. They better figure it out.
They absolutely need to. Let's go to the Houston Texans go on the road to play the Los Angeles Rams. Rams win 14-9 at home. Stafford, good to go for this game, of course. 245 through the year and 1 touchdown. And then C.J. Stroud, 188, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I wouldn't even blame him for this interception. That was just a crazy play by the DB. It was stripped away from the wide receiver in midair. I thought it was more on the wide receiver than the quarterback, to be honest with you. But overall, great defensive battle. And Texans defense is phenomenal. It was pretty great to see the Rams defense step up to this task. We knew they were good, at least personally. I knew they were good, but great? They looked phenomenal in this one, holding this team down. Metro, what was your takeaway from this game?
Yeah, a weird one. This was a game that you thought would be fireworks, and then it ended up being more of this defensive slugfest, which I guess in hindsight made a lot of sense because you have a quarterback in Stafford who's rusty. CJ Stroud has a terrible offensive line that I think lost their starting center, which is bad for them.
Oh, Lord.
I think that he went out on like the cart or something like that. So we'll keep an eye on this offensive line. They're getting thin there, and they're not very good. CJ had a lot of pressure on him throughout the day. No Joe Mixon, but Nick Chubb went in there, and he did some nice things, but it wasn't like he wasn't necessarily being terribly impactful, but he made enough plays for them. Both defenses got the job done. Both defenses gave their teams a chance to win. It just happened to be that, again, in the red zone, the LA Rams were better. 0 for 1 for Houston, 2 for 3 for LA. Both these teams were somewhat able to move the ball. Houston not as effectively as LA. Houston was 2 for 9. But penalties for Houston, 11 for 80, 7 for 60 for LA. Got to clean that up. I think if you're Houston, you think you're fine. You're not panicking yet because you lost by 5 to a great team that is also in contention. The offensive line, though, is a major concern. CJ Stroud has to Superman this thing every day, and I just don't know if Stroud is good enough to do that. Good enough because they don't think he's a Lamar or Josh Allen. I think he's a good quarterback. He needs a good offensive line. I think when Joe Mixon comes back, they'll be better, but for now, I'm a little concerned. Also, they need to get Nico Collins the ball more.
They do. Texans were 2 for 9 on third down. Not putting this on CJ, but like we just cannot have that as the quarterback. We got to move the ball at least 2 more times than that on third down. We got to keep the ball pushing. This is just 2 really teams and 2 awesome coaches going at it. It was like 2 wizards going to war. I enjoyed the game. It was a defensive battle. Felt a lot like that Super Bowl between the Rams and Bill Belichick back in the day. It was like 2019. Really good game. Ton of penalties. As you said, 18 penalties in this game. Going on to week 2 from these games, the Texans will play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will be watching that without a doubt. And then the Rams play the Titans. Not going to say bye week, but more of a lighter game while you go into Philadelphia in week 3. Any final thoughts, Metro, before we talk about the Ravens and Bills? Just a little bit because they're heading into the fourth quarter.
No. I mean, both these teams are good. No need to hit the panic button, but Houston got to fix up that offensive line. I would not be surprised if you start to hear some trade rumors, maybe not next week or within the next couple weeks, but in a few weeks potentially.
It is time for our non-football question of the day. Metro, we'll keep it short because we are about 1:20 in. I know the folks are getting tired. They have jobs to go to. So my question to you is, what is the best television series, TV series you have watched of all time?
I'll be boring. I love The Office. I love The Office.
I get it,
I watched it a while ago, but sporadically, a couple episodes here and there. But recently, I've been just grinding, watching the whole thing, then just sitting down. Like when I'm editing, when I'm posting on Twitter or doing my thing, editing, recording, I'll have it on in the back.
I don't know how you do that, by the way. How do you hear 4 voices at once?
Well, I usually have the volume super low, and I can just sort of tune my ears to focus on one thing at once. So I'll have my TV on, but the volume will be at like 10, right? And I'll keep the remote next to me if I want to turn it up or whatnot. I have my speakers for my computer, and I edit, and then occasionally I'll like turn right here, and I have my laptop, and I'll be typing. I'm just
You're a wizard,
just able to
bro.
Tune things off in and out. But
I have like 5 voices in my head at all times, no editing aside. So I don't know how you do that. That's very impressive. Love the Office answer.
Bro is Randy Orton.
I hear voices in my head.
What's your favorite show? What's your favorite show?
I'd probably go Game of Thrones. I just watched the whole thing through like this year, and listen, first season, there's a lot of things going on that are not children appropriate, and like I'm not here for that personally. Let me see some fighting, but the whole show is pretty sick.
Is the last season good? I've heard it's really bad.
That's a lie. People don't like the last season because it's not what they wanted. Let me just say it like that. Let's go back into football, just talking about that. Guys, You are the audience, and we ask you every week a couple of hot takes that are on your mind. And these were 5 that we got from our audience. Thank you for submitting. If you want to submit yours, we will send out a post every single week. Subscribe down below. We'll post them on Monday and Thursday. And, of course, we can even get one on Sunday about a halftime during the first schedule of games. We want your hot takes. We'll talk about them. We'll take 5 every week. For our first 5, we have our first hot take from Caleb McLean, 43-27. Metro, he says, for his hot take, Jaden Daniels, you ready for this? Wins the MVP and wins a Super Bowl. How hot is this take, and what is the path to this happening?
It's hot. It's not the hottest hot take, though. I wouldn't put money on it, but he did have a good game, though. So it's possible. It is possible.
5 being scorching, 0 being lame as hell.
2.5, right down the middle. 2.5. It isn't a hot take where I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be, it's going to happen, right? That'd be lame, right? But it's also not one where it's like, oh, it's not going to happen at all. Like if you said Bryce Young wins MVP, that's a 5, right? You're close, bro.
Out of your mind.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. But this one's not out of your mind. This is it could happen. My money is still on Joe Burrow, but I'm not feeling good about it right now. But yeah, no, I don't think so. What do you think? I don't think so.
I think there's a path. Like out of all the hot takes out here, you hear some crazy shit every day, right? This one was like, hey, fantastic player. He has the spotlight and the stardom to do it. That's very important with the MVP voting. And his team's good enough to get to the show. Path of this happening, I think somebody clips the Eagles' wings during the playoffs, so you don't have to see them during that NFC run. And besides that, I think they could take on any team in the NFC.
I agree. Next hot take.
Next hot take is going to be from Prodigy with 2 eyes. 1, 2, 3. And his hot take is, Metro, let's do a 1 to 5 scale instead of 0 to 5. Kyler Murray wins MVP. What are your thoughts?
That's a 5. That's a 5. That's tough. I mean, can we get an All Pro first or a Pro Bowl? Let's get one step at a time here. For Kyler to win an MVP, he's going to have to cook. I mean, he's going to have to play out of his mind. Jaden Daniels, somewhat more realistic. This one, very, very far-fetched in my opinion.
Hey, that's what hot takes are for. Kyler, for reference, this weekend had 163, 2 touchdowns, 29 attempts, and also 38 yards on the ground. 2 touchdowns puts you in the conversation, but we need to get those numbers up to like 200-something. I like it. Yeah. It's better than some of the hot takes I've heard. So thank you, Prodigy, for submitting that. Very fun. Next one we have from Art6322. And he says for his hot take, or her, Seahawks are going to make the NFC Championship game. Now, let this be known. This was posted on Thursday before they lost to the 49ers. I don't know if they would change their opinion because of this comment was earlier, but from 1 to 5, how hot is it, and how would it happen if so?
It's hot, especially after this week. They're going to win the NFC Championship game, so make the Super Bowl, basically?
No. Make the game.
Okay, they're going to make it. Okay, making it isn't completely out of the possibility. It'd be a tough task. The defense has to step up. The offense has to run the ball better. The offensive line has to play better. Sam Darnold has to play better. It's like a 4. It's not going to happen, but it could. You never know. But it wouldn't be my money. I wouldn't put my money on it right now. Put in Green Bay. Give me the Eagles still. Commanders, I could see. We haven't seen Minnesota yet. We'll see Minnesota here in a little bit. By the way, can we just say this? The AFC looks so much better than the NFC. Like, so much better.
Way better. I mean, way better. It's not even funny. I'm trembling. Actually, I'm very thankful as a Lions fan. We just played the best team in the NFC in my eyes. Yeah, that the AFC is going to be nasty this year.
Yeah, because the AFC, you got the Chiefs, you got the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers who just won. Broncos will play better. Who else? I mean, Houston. Yeah, Houston as well. NFC, it's like, okay, you got Philly. You got Green Bay. Detroit just got blown out, I guess.
Bad.
Them. Washington, maybe. That's about it. Dallas, I guess.
Rams?
Because, I mean, yeah, Rams. Yeah, Rams. But even, yeah, Rams. Yeah, I'll put Rams there.
Yeah.
Next hot take. Let's hear it.
Next hot take. This one comes from a name I can't say, so I'm going to hyper shorten it. It's going to be Mr. Fart from our channel. He comments, yeah. Trey Amos, the cornerback from Ole Miss, wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is a deep ball knowledge hot take. This is no casual hot take, Metro. What are your thoughts?
Well, he did get a stop on Malik Neighbors today. Unfortunately, PFF has not updated their system yet, so I guess we'll get more information on this tomorrow.
Seatbelt.
It's hot though. It's hot. Who would be the top contender? It'd have to be Abdul Carter. But did he get a sack today? I don't think he got a sack today. Abdul Carter.
Did anybody ball out that was a rookie defensive player today?
Abdul Carter had 3 tackles and a half sack.
Hey, that's pretty damn good for a rookie.
Maxwell Hairston isn't playing. Jade Barron, I didn't hear much from him. Who else?
I don't know. I put this at like a 5 hot. I think Trey Amos is a really good player.
I'd put it at 3. I mean,
put it at
look,
3?
It wouldn't be my money. I would still put it on Abdul Carter. But
okay.
I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, maybe I'm missing a bunch of... Travis Hunter is more of an offensive guy. I'm trying to think of like who could be... Let me see here. Let me. All right, I'll throw a list at you here. I'll throw all the defensive players in the first round.
By the way, I think it's less of just being Trey Amos and more of people don't know how to grade defensive backs unless you're absolute monstrous like Pat Surtain II.
So Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Micah Williams, Jalen Walker, Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart, Jade, James Pierce, Malachi Starks. He is a candidate for sure. Jihad Campbell, Maxwell Hairston, and Nicky Onwari, Carson Schwessinger, Donovan Ezaraku. Carson did have a good day. Donovan Ezaraku, who was terrible in the first half, but locked in the second half. My God, he was so bad in the first half. Yeah, I would say... I mean, Abdul Carter would be the favorite. I forgot Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon's there. Then I would maybe say Malachi Starks. Yeah, I mean, look, Trey Amos would not be in my top. God, Derrick Henry's going for a touchdown. That dude is insane, bro. And they're throwing bottles at him. Somebody just threw a bottle at his head. He's insane. Ravens won the game, by the way. It's wraps.
It's over.
It's wraps.
Turn it
They're
off. It's over.
Boy, Ravens look good. All right, what's the next hot take?
Hot take, our final hot take, comes from. You didn't give it a 1 to 5 scale real quick. Trey Amos, how hot?
Oh, 3.
3? Very nice. Very, very nice. That's a good hot take, Mr. Fart. Final hot take. Was not put on the hot take post, but this is just commented in a video, so I put it on there anyways. It was, and it kind of plays really well to what you were just talking about. From Marg Can, the Buffalo Bills will be the number 1 AFC seed.
Oh, he just missed the extra point. That's unfortunate.
Lock in.
Sorry. This game's good. It's 40-25. Is it a hot take? No, because they are, I think, the second best team. But I think the Ravens they're making a statement right now. This is a statement win that they are the best team. I mean, they're up 15. There's still 11 minutes to go. It's not over yet. But it is. It might be over. We'll see. Kansas City, I think, they'll figure their path out. I think the Chargers are a really good team. I still like Denver. I still like Houston. But, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, I would imagine, have to be number 2. I think Baltimore's number 1. I think Buffalo's 2. Kansas City 3. And it'll change as we go along here. Potentially Buffalo could find their way to be number 1. Give me the Ravens for now. This one is a 1.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think after this ass beating of a game that's going on right now, I think Ravens are going to wrap this up. But if anyone's going to do it besides them, it's going to be the Bills. So 1 for me as well. Guys, if you want your hot take to be commented on by us, throw it in the comments below, or you can even drop it on a post. We're going to post it Monday, Thursday, or Sunday afternoon. Just let us know in any of those sections that we post on. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 30 seconds of this video, thank you. We appreciate you. And also, if you're watching this long, drop a like. It helps us out a ton. Even more than every minute you've watched. If you drop 1 like, it pretty much doubles your output on the algorithm. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys more than you know. We are so excited football is back. We cannot wait for week 2. We love you guys. Have the best day. Metro, get us out of here.
Week 1 is in the books. We will be back for Week 2. Also, keep an eye on us for the rest of the week. We'll have another episode on Thursday and more in the future. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Love you guys. Peace out.